There's a lot of questions around TikTok, and we're trying to frame this webinar around the questions that we already know are kind of like in the forefront of your mind. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a background on TikTok and kind of why it should matter for your business. So I'll share my screen. We titled this presentation, Why Your Business Should Be Advertising on TikTok. But I guess that's probably not that appropriate a title for this because here's the thing. I'm not 100% sure that every business should necessarily be spending time advertising on TikTok or any platform for that matter. Like, not every platform is right for every business, but I do think that TikTok is more right for a lot of businesses than they think. So it's a good idea to understand the opportunity that is available for you, and just have all of the facts, have all of the information before you make a decision on whether it's something that you want to delve into or not. But we're a digital marketing agency. We work with all kinds of different advertising platforms and tons of different types of businesses that range from contracting services to roofing companies, to law offices, to dentists, to pretty much everything in between, right? And other digital marketing agencies. And so if you want to get to know us a little bit better, we're always posting really good quality content on our socials as well. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And we're actually pretty agnostic as far as what advertising somebody does and what platforms they're on, because in our opinion, it's all about the audience and the messaging and whether you're fulfilling a problem or solving a problem. It just so happens that TikTok's a pretty cool opportunity for a lot of businesses, and that's the reason that we're doing the webinar on it. And there's a lot of misinformation around it, so we wanted to kind of clear some things up. So just a quick agenda. We're just going to give you a little bit of a background on TikTok, what it is, kind of how it rose in the whole social media platform channels. Some myths. We're going to bust up some myths that are out there and try to shed some light on the platform and some questions that people often have. Any type of advertising is all a question of trade-offs, right? It's like you only have so much budget, you only have so much time. So where are you going to spend those two things to get the biggest bang for your buck? So we're going to try to answer some questions around, like, how does TikTok stack up against other social media channels that you may be more familiar with? Like, you may have been advertising on Facebook for a long time. You may be on Instagram and you're spending a lot of money and time there, maybe LinkedIn. So like, how does TikTok stack up? Where should it fit into the overall marketing mix? And honestly, where should social fit into the whole marketing mix, as opposed to things like TV and radio, and other more traditional types of media? And then, why does all this actually matter to your business? Why do we even care about this? So let's just kind of jump in a little bit. I skipped a slide. So here's a little background on TikTok. It's been around for quite a while. It's been around since 2017. It was introduced to the US in 2017. But during the pandemic, TikTok absolutely surged in popularity. And you all probably noticed that. If you have kids, many of them may not have been on TikTok beforehand, but a lot of them probably got on at that period of time. And a lot of adults started to join the platform as well. There are 1.8 billion active users by the end of 2022. That doesn't mean that they're monthly active users. It just means that they're users, right? They're people that are in the platform. So it's a massive, massive audience. All signs kind of point to the fact that it's going to continue to grow and increase in popularity. Like, it doesn't seem to be slowing down, or slowing down in comparison to what other social media channels did at that point in their lives. And part of the value is that it provides people with a really easy, straightforward way to share video content. It makes accessible the huge audience of people using the platform without having to hire a camera crew, right? You don't have to have a lot of equipment. Most of the content on TikTok is produced just using an iPhone. And it doesn't even have to be the most current generation iPhone with 17 cameras on the back of it. It can literally just be any iPhone. Because primarily what TikTok users are interested in is authentic content that looks like it's been served to them by another human being. That is the essence of the platform. So just we have to bear that in mind as we stack it up against all the other platforms out there. So it really makes a lot of things accessible that wouldn't typically be accessible unless you have tons of really good equipment. So here's one of the things that, you know, we hear all the time. Isn't TikTok really like just for kids? You know, if you're over the age of 18 or 20, are you really using TikTok? And are people actually buying anything on TikTok? This is the question that usually looms in people's minds, in businesses' minds, when they're trying to figure out whether they're going to invest time and energy. And rightfully so, because you have to make sure that you're advertising to the correct market, because again, you've got limited time and resources. So let's talk about it. Here's what the overall graph looks like right now. 32% of the users are under the age of are 19 and under for sure. And then the age ranges kind of dwindle from there. So if you're selling to a crowd that's between the ages of 30 and you know, that's 30 and above, this graph could look a little bit scary, right? Like, oh, geez, my audience is not even on TikTok. Like, why would I even be there? And you know, you wouldn't be wrong in thinking that. But we're going to talk a little bit more about that later on. This is sort of giving you an idea of the growth trajectory of this platform. So basically, the platform has increased dramatically. They picked up a lot of users in 2021, 22. And you can see right now they've got basically 1.5 billion monthly users. So it's a huge number of people using the platform. As far as how it stacks up against all of the other social media channels, this is where it is. It's basically like number 6 on the list. Facebook, YouTube, WhatsApp, Instagram, and WeChat are all above it. Most of us are not using, like, there's not a lot of people using WeChat in our area. It's just not all that popular. But certainly Facebook is the juggernaut, and YouTube is also a juggernaut. The reason that we like TikTok, and I'm just going to kind of come back to this slide right here now that we've established those things. Couple of the reasons that we like TikTok is a few things. Number one, TikTok has 1 billion monthly users that are avid users of the platform. So yeah, only 40% of its user base is over the age of 30, right? But that is still a lot of people. Like, that is still a huge number of people that you can be communicating with, right? And so that's one of the reasons we really like the platform, is that even though the TikTok's user base tends to lean younger, the number of people that currently fall within many of our clients' target market is still massive. It's still way more people using the platform than you could ever hope to reach who fall right within your target market. Number two, if you look at this bucket, 20 to 29-year-olds, you're talking about a group of people who will soon be in their 30s, right? I mean, when I was 18 years old, 19 years old, and I'm now 38, Facebook had just come out. And it was this new thing that only kids were doing, but guess who's still using Facebook quite often and can now make purchasing decisions to buy some pretty nice things, and and who needs to have home repairs done, and who needs to have an addition built on my house? Me, right? And my generation. So we can look at these platforms and go, yeah, it's only for a younger audience, but one thing's for sure, Father Time is undefeated. You know, we know that by watching Tom Brady, right? And the reality is these people are going to be aging into the demographic that many of the people on this call and many of the businesses that we serve are trying to serve right now. Not to mention the fact that for many people, being in your 20s, means that you do have some disposable income, and you can be spending money on things like home upgrades, classes. You need a family doctor because you're just starting your family. And so these are legitimate age ranges that we need to be targeting and really thinking about. I also love the idea of building a presence with people in these areas right here, prior to when they start sort of aging into those prime earning and spending years. There's something to be said for building that presence now and creating that brand loyalty now using a platform that they're all using. So those are some of the reasons that I really like TikTok for most businesses, even if you're B2B. B2B, there's a huge opportunity, and we'll get into why that is in a little bit. Any questions before I move forward to the next to the next thing here. Feel free to just kind of raise your hand and I'll click through the things here. No, okay, good. This is another question that people often have is like, yeah, but do TikTok users actually spend any money? Like, or are they primarily coming from like lower income households where there's not a whole lot of disposable income? And what we actually find is that a large amount of TikTok users come from homes that make north of 6 figures. So what it's giving you is an audience of people that will actually invest money in products and services that maybe we weren't expecting. In fact, there are hashtags on Twitter, on TikTok, such as TikTok made me buy it. So for consumer products, people are making a dramatic number of decisions based on what they're seeing advertised on this platform that just makes it a very fertile and ripe ground for folks who are looking to sell product, both novelty items and just everyday household items and services. Another question that we often get, and I just want to make sure I didn't skip a slide because it kind of hesitated there, is, I don't know how to create videos or create content. We get a lot of this, which is sort of the second cousin of the whole idea of I don't have time to do these things, and we'll get into that after. Here's the thing: every single one of us is creating content every single day. For the most part. I mean, many of us are, and if you as the CEO of your company are not creating content, there are a lot of people in your office who are probably creating content. We're taking out our phones, we're shooting photos, we're taking videos, and much of it is candid, and we would go, geez, why would I ever want to share that with anybody? It's all candid. Why would anybody actually want to see this? But that's the beauty of the platform, is that people want to connect with businesses and with other people using the platform. And if something looks like an ad, they're actually less likely to click it. They're less likely to interact with it. If something looks authentic, it looks like it was just shot yesterday by somebody right down the street, somebody that's approachable, who they can talk to, that tends to be the type of content that does better on TikTok, as long as it is reaching the correct target audience, which we just kind of established is that your audience is either on the platform now or they're headed that way. And there's probably no disputing that. So, how do you reconcile all this? Well, the first thing is that most of us have content in our phones right now that can be shared on TikTok, or that can be taken and turned into a TikTok ad, and we just don't even know it, but it is there. It's a very easy, approachable platform. The advertising platform is relatively simple to get started on, and we can walk through that. You can obviously bring somebody in to help you with that, or you can do it on your own. But basically, there's no reason not to be creating content on TikTok because most of us already have it. This is another question we often get, is like, do I need to be a clown? Right? I mean, TikTok got this reputation of just being a place where people could just go and sing and dance and sort of clown around and get a ton of followers. But is there really a business case made to be on this platform? And do I need to be singing and dancing and doing all of those things in order to fit in? And the answer to that is no. I mean, think about it this way. We all watch TV, and we have advertisers that run commercials on TV. Well, we don't have to be professional actors like what we see on TV. It's just that the actors and the content, right, the programming on television is what brings us to that media. If we're listening to the radio, we don't have to be a professional guitar player or a professional singer in order to advertise on the radio. It's just that, the radio is bringing the eyeballs, or in that case, the earballs. It's the Brad Paisleys and the Carrie Underwoods that are bringing the audience there. And then the advertisers are also going to be there because that's where the people are hanging out. So the whole notion that you somehow have to fit into the mold of creating all of this entertaining content all the time, like, yes, it is a good idea to create entertaining content and to be entertaining, but not in that way. You want to be creating content that is entertaining to your target market, but that also teaches them something. So what I want to do is show you an ad that I just saw running on TikTok yesterday that's relatively entertaining. I hope everybody's able to see this. I'm going to let Ray Tweedy into the meeting here. Always good to see Ray. And I'm going to play this. And Erica, if you don't mind unmuting yourself, if you're still there. Okay, good. And just let me know.
I'm here.
Just let me know if you can hear this. Okay. Can you hear that?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Was it too loud or was it good?
I mean, it was a little loud, but I didn't hear much of it.
All right, cool. So this is one from Anderson Windows that I saw the other day that I liked. So the reason that I liked this ad, was everybody able to, I mean, Erica, was that clear? Okay. All right. I'll leave the volume settings because I have another one coming up in a second too. So the reason that I like this ad is that none of the content is shot by anything other than an iPhone. It is literally one of the people on the job site with their phone shooting footage that is not even really good footage by most people's estimations. It's jerky, it's all over the place. You don't really see anybody talking to the camera. It's the back of people's heads. And so you're going, how could this possibly be a successful ad? Well, it's a successful ad because they're using a lot of testimonials from customers. They're relating to the audience. It's probably one in a line of maybe 5 or 6 other ones that they're testing. They have a good, strong offer right here, 10% off your entire purchase, and a few other things. And basically that get a quote button is drawing you directly to their website. So they may or may not even have a TikTok page, but they can still run ads on the platform, just like you would run ads on TV, on the radio, in the newspaper, in all sorts of other platforms. And that's kind of another myth that I think a lot of people have about TikTok is like, do I need to have a page that I'm constantly posting content to in order to be able to advertise on the platform? And the answer is absolutely not. You can advertise on the platform just like you're running a Google display ad. It's just the difference is you need to be creating a video as opposed to a different type of ad. And you really need to be thinking about the type of content that will resonate with the target audience. And that can be targeted directly at people that own houses, directly at people who have maybe been doing some shopping for new windows or home renovations. The targeting parameters on TikTok are pretty good based on what we've seen. They're not quite as good as the other platforms yet, but there are things about them that make it better. And we can get into that in a little bit more detail. Any questions at this point? I'm going to scroll through my deal here. Doesn't look like any hands are raised, so I'm going to keep on.
There's a question in the chat, Brad.
Okay, cool. Help a company develop. Absolutely. Yes. So TikTok advertising is definitely something that we are offering to many of our clients and to a lot of new clients because they want to get on the platform, but just have no idea where to get started. They're curious about it. They want to talk about it. They want to figure it out, but they don't even really know where to start. And they kind of want the real information on it. So we run a lot of TikTok ads for our clients. We've brought some new clients on that are exclusively interested in doing TikTok advertising. Maybe they're running Facebook ads on their own, or they're hired another agency to handle a lot of their digital marketing, but that agency won't touch TikTok. So we've been bringing in a lot of clients that really want to focus on that as well. Not only will we run the ads, but we can also manage your TikTok account. So for instance, let's say you have a Google Drive or a Dropbox folder full of just pictures and video content, and it's just sitting there. And you want to have a voice on TikTok and maybe Instagram, but you just can't get it together enough to make it happen on your own. You can literally just give us that. You give us that folder, and we have a whole team of people that will take those photos, take those videos, splice them together, turn them into TikToks that look like that one that you just saw, where it's literally just 7 videos put together in a format that's appealing to the audience, and then we can be creating that content for you. So yes, we can do that. Many other wonderful agencies too can do that as well, but it is definitely a service that we offer. And I'll say this, up until somewhat recently, I too was not on board with this because I said, geez, many of our clients do not appear to be expressing a whole lot of interest in this. There's not a lot of people banging our door down for this. So we're not necessarily going to focus a lot of energy. And then I really did a lot of soul searching and said, as a digital marketing agency, our job is to give our clients the understanding of where they should be spending at least some time, and communicating that with them and saying, listen, your audience may not be there right now, but they're going to be there in 3 to 5 years. So we need to be establishing a presence there. And so that's when we decided to sort of dive headfirst into this platform, because all signs point to it not going anywhere, and it sort of being the next incarnation of what the next generation knows and current generations know as social media. So yeah, we love it. It definitely plays a role. All right. I can't find time to do anything. I don't even have time to brush my teeth half the time, right? So am I going to have to spend a whole lot of time on this in order to make it worth my while? And so there's really a few different answers to this question. First of all, if it's worth doing TikTok, if you agree, if you believe that your target market is on the platform, is spending time on the platform, then you should be there. And if you feel that you should be there, then it is worth investing in doing a good job on it. That's what we believe. Like, anything that's worth doing is worth doing a good job of it. The last thing that you would want would be to, sort of, there's a better term for half-ass. I don't know what it is. I'm looking for it. But the worst thing to do would be to communicate to a large number of people that you're sort of only dipping your toe in the water and not really do a good job. At that point, you're better off just not doing it all, because you don't want to communicate that you don't care, or that you don't know what you're doing, or that you don't respect the user that's on that platform. So that's number one. If you're going to do it, you really need to do a good job of it. You would never want to just run a half-baked radio ad, because think about all the people that you could be communicating with that you don't really care that much about that ad. That's a problem, and that hurts your brand. So anything that you do needs to be done very, very well. Anything that you're going to put out there that you're going to sign your name to needs to be done well. However, understand too that much of the content you're already creating can be repurposed for this platform. So for instance, maybe you're making Instagram content right now. Maybe you're creating Instagram Reels right now. Well, you can take your Instagram Reel content and repurpose it and put it on TikTok. However, what you don't want to do is have a video go live on TikTok with the Instagram watermark. You could do it every once in a while, like we do it sometimes, but there are problems with doing that. And if you're going to be doing this long term, and you're not going to be creating videos specifically for the platform, you're going to want to get a service that will actually remove the watermark. There's a couple of them called like Repurposify or something like that, and that'll actually remove the watermark for you. On the other hand, if you're creating videos on TikTok, you definitely do not want to upload them to Instagram with the watermark, because Instagram hates that, because TikTok is such a huge competitor to it. So it could not serve your video. It could label you as a poor account quality. So you just don't want to do that. It's less of a big deal going the other way. As a matter of fact, it can be beneficial, because you're advertising your Instagram account to the TikTok users. And so maybe they follow you in both places. But in reality, if you're going to be doing it long-term, you're going to be doing a lot of it. You want to have a plan in place to be creating videos that don't have each other's watermarks on them. But most of the content you're creating on one platform can be repurposed for the other one. I just wanted to show another ad that I found not too long ago. This one is not quite as sharp, because I was filming my phone with another phone. So I apologize in advance, but you'll get the picture when I show this to you. That's not the right one. That's the same one that I just showed. Let's see if I can find it. I think it might be the next one. Might be my next one. Sorry about that. This one.
Hey, do you have an older home that doesn't have central cooling or heating? Retrofitting a bigger traditional system into an older home can be pretty pricey. But here's a great solution to heat and cool your home efficiently and affordably. It's called a mini split. It can go in any room in your house. There's an indoor unit and a small outdoor unit. It can heat and cool efficiently. And right now we can get you one at a great price with $0 down and 0% interest. If you're interested in this, click below for more information. Hey.
So one of the reasons that I chose that as a really compelling ad is that we do have clients that do ductless mini splits, heat pumps, generators, standby generators, solar. So we've got a decent number of clients who do that. And so when I see this ad, this is kind of one of the ads that really inspired me to delve a little bit deeper into TikTok advertising. Because another thing that you notice about this is that, again, all the camera work looks pretty amateur. It's questionable whether or not there might even be some misspellings in the captions. So I probably wouldn't want to publish an ad for a client if I knew that that were the case. But it speaks to the fact that this platform appreciates authenticity. Nobody had to show their face on this ad. It's all somebody doing a voiceover. It might even be a robot doing the voiceover. I'm not sure. But it's relatively simple to create TikTok ads. And many of them are going to convert a lot better than a lot of the other ads that you see out there. So I just like this one, so I wanted to share it.
Hey, do you have an older home that doesn't have?
I'm going to move forward. All right, so this is kind of one of the last things that I wanted to delve into. Because we have a lot of people, or there's a lot of businesses out there that are kind of waiting. They're playing the wait and see game. I want to see if my competitors start doing it and see how well it works for them, and then I'm going to jump on there and start doing it. And you may sort of be in this camp, or you may read that and go, well, I'm in that camp. But now that I see that, it looks a little crazy to me, because why would I want to wait for my competitors to do something? Wouldn't I want to be the first mover? And so here's just what I want to say to that. First of all, right now, there are definitely fewer users on TikTok than there are on Facebook, 100%. But the proportion of advertisers that are on TikTok versus Facebook is substantially lower as a percentage. So basically, it's a huge audience on TikTok, lots of people that are in your target market, and many people that will be in your target market over the next 3 to 5 to 10 years. But there are very few advertisers, at least local advertisers, using the platform, local advertisers making content specifically for the platform. So in that way, your content is actually going to cost a lot less to share with your target audience than it's going to cost on a lot of other platforms. CPMs are very light on TikTok compared to what they are on other social media platforms, and compared to what they are in a lot of other types of advertising. So that's the first thing. There's less competition on the platform, so it gives you a much better opportunity to get in front of your target customer. You're basically getting in on the ground floor, and it's not really the ground floor anymore because the platform is 6 years old, but people have not adopted it. There's still a lot of people, there's still a lot of businesses that are not really paying attention to it. And so for those businesses who do, and who develop a strategy and develop a large follower base and create it as one of your core competencies and your ways of communicating with your customer, there's no way that it doesn't become a good advertising channel for you, a very effective way for you to generate leads over the next couple of years. And you can start now. So to me, I like it. I like it for my business, and I like it for a lot of our clients. So here's just some general statistics, and I'm not going to read these slides. I'm not going to read all the slides. Here's what I just want to make sure that I highlight a couple of differences between the elephants in the room, the Facebooks and the Instagrams and the TikToks. So first of all, CPM, cost to reach 1,000 people, cost per 1,000 impressions, I should say, tends to be a little lower on TikTok than it does on other platforms. However, on TikTok, you have to spend at least $20 a day if you're going to be advertising. If you're not advertising, you don't have to spend anything. You can just be creating content, adding it to your profile, writing robust descriptions, using appropriate hashtags, and folks are going to start to see that content if it's good. If it's not good, then nobody will see it because TikTok won't show it to their user base. But if it's good, it's going to get shared. It's going to get engagement. But you got to spend $20 a day. It doesn't mean you have to spend $20 every day. It's just that in order to advertise on the platform, you got to spend $20. One of the things that I like about Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and display ads, for instance, that I don't love about TikTok yet is that you can't advertise to just a specific zip code. You really need to advertise to either a whole state, or you have to advertise to a larger DMA. So for instance, if you want to advertise to Boston or the Boston, Manchester DMA, you can do that. But you can't just advertise to 03301 zip code because you're a Concord area, plumber and you only want to get customers in Concord. You just can't do that yet. And you also can't really draw a little circle around Concord and only advertise to that group. So that is, I wouldn't call it a shortcoming. It's just a characteristic of the platform, and that will probably change over time as the platform matures and gets better. So that is just one thing to know. You do not need to have a TikTok profile in order to advertise on the platform. Whereas on Facebook, you really kind of do. Because if I'm on Facebook and I see your ad, there's a good chance that I'm going to look at your profile next, see a little bit more information about you, and then maybe click to your website. Like that's how a lot of Facebook users do it, or just message you. But on TikTok, you don't need that. You can just be running an ad and not even have a TikTok profile. You can just name your ad whatever you want it to be. So if you're a roofing provider and you want to run an ad for no cost upfront roofing, like because you're doing a financing plan or something like that, then you can say you're New Hampshire's roofing relief provider or something, and you can make it up, or you can call it your own name. Totally up to you, but TikTok gives you that ability to do. And TikTok's really cool because you can hop on trending audios. So, and I'm not going to talk a whole lot about that because we don't have a lot of time here, but understand that with TikTok, a lot of value can be gained by jumping on trends that already exist, because people follow the trend and then de facto they end up seeing your content because you jumped on that trending bandwagon. And that's a platform that they kind of started that in a lot of ways. So, and then Instagram kind of picked up on it. So it's pretty cool, and it can bring you a lot of new visibility. So basically, in closing, it's kind of like this. TikTok's a growing entity. Your user base, likely a large portion of your user base or your target market, is already on it, and your future target market is also on it. And so as your future target market ages into being your actual target market, we think it makes sense to be paying attention to the platform and establishing a spot for yourself right now, instead of waiting until everybody else is on the platform and the CPM costs go way up, which is what has been happening with Facebook ads for a really long time now. Costs are through the roof. Google ads. If you're running Google ads for your roofing company, your cost per click is $10, $15, $20. It didn't used to be that way. It used to be 50 cents a click, but then every roofing company jumped on board, and then all of a sudden the bids have gone way up, right? And we're kind of at the beginning stage of that on TikTok. So I think it makes sense to have it as part of your arsenal. So if you have any questions about it, just get in touch with us. And I'm happy to answer any more questions that anybody might have right now.
Hey, Brad, in the chat, could you put in your contact information so these folks can find you? And we'll share everyone's emails and so on and so forth. But this is awesome. Thank you.
You're very welcome. So I'm going to put my email address, my website, and then our...
Should I add mine as well, Brad?
Yeah, please, by all means. So Erica is our head of business development. So basically, anytime you're interested in potentially working with SC Digital in really any capacity, Erica is going to handle the whole first part with you. So she's going to help you sort of determine what your goals are, put together a package that is most likely to work for you. And then when you become a client of SC Digital, you work directly with a client success manager and a digital strategist who can really understand at a deep level, not just your goals, but what the execution strategies are going to be, who on our team is going to be working on your account. So if you're running TikTok ads, then we've got a social media director that's going to be entrenched with your business. If you're running Google ads, we have a Google ads guru named Maddie, who just knows that platform front, back, and sideways, and has seen the beginning, middle, and the end of every movie when it comes to Google ads, and can really help you kind of take your account to the next level. We've got, 15 web designers on staff. We've got search engine optimization specialists. So really, for either any business or any other agency that's looking for help with fulfillment, because maybe they have clients that they're a little bit short-staffed to be able to help, and they want to be able to take on more and grow their business, we really represent a great partnership opportunity in that respect as well. So yeah,
and that's why I thought,
more people.
and that's what I thought of with Kristen Pappas. I took all kinds of little notes. So
Yeah.
you and Kristen get the email afterwards.
Yeah.
But also we need to remember that Facebook started originally for college. You know, it was like college freshmen like get to know and either evolve or evaporate is one of my favorite sayings.
Yeah,
And
it's a
and
big one.
yeah, and for the members who are on here, Brad Solomon, SE Digital, is a member of the Home Builders. So they're one of us. They do business with us. They help us a lot. They don't know this yet, but they can help us more for our home show.
Cool.
Surprise. But you know, thank you.
You're very welcome. Yeah, it's funny what you said about Facebook. I mean, the reality is Facebook is so propped up by so many advertisers that are making money on the platform. It's one of those, I mean, the term too big to fail got a really bad rap back in 2007, 2008. But in reality, if Facebook just failed, it would really impact a lot of businesses and would put a lot of businesses out of business if it failed, because it is such a central part of how many companies are getting their lead flow. And so we see Facebook, Instagram, certainly Google, you know, and to a lesser extent, TikTok and Twitter as a very, very important part of the overall ecosystem. Even if businesses are not advertising on the platform themselves, chances are pretty darn good that the people who buy from them are in some way connected to those platforms. And if those platforms weren't there, things would change for a lot of people. And so we just try our best to find ways for companies to mold those platforms and harness them in ways that best fit their needs. And not every one of them is a perfect fit for every business. People come to us all the time and say, should I be doing this? Should I be doing that? Should I be doing that? And many times we have to say, not unless there's a really, really darn good reason for you to be doing it. You know?
And you know, and Brad, you're very creative, America. You're very creative. Like, you know, we have East Coast Lumber on here.
Yeah.
You know, I'm putting you completely on the spot, and you're going to hate me afterwards. But how could like a building supply company, how could they get into TikTok, and what could they do and talk about, or you know, do you have some initial thoughts on the spot?
Yeah, absolutely. So we would need to know a little bit more about who your target audience is. If your target audience is primarily business to business, then basically your audience is probably there, right? So if we were doing an initial consultation with East Coast Lumber, we would want to understand, who do you sell to? Like, what demographic, what areas do you sell to? What is that person's job title tend to be? What is that person looking for online? What kinds of blogs are they reading? What kinds of TV shows are they watching? Because that'll help us to target that person appropriately. And then what we do is we create content for East Coast Lumber that resonates with that perfect target audience. And it may be a smaller target audience than, say, the person selling heat pumps, because the person selling heat pumps could sell to any homeowner, as opposed to the business to business company who has a much smaller target audience. But here's the thing: if your audience is a lot smaller, it doesn't mean they're not there. It just means that it's cheaper to reach them, and because there's fewer of them, right? It's easier to saturate, and it's a lot less expensive. So we just need to be creating content that calls out a problem that target audience has, right? Presses on that pain point. That's all marketing comes down to in just about every case, is finding your customer's pain point, pressing on it, agitating it, and then showing them why your solution helps them overcome it. And in that case, it's just about, you know, it's about finding that audience and pressing on the pain point and giving them a nice, easy way to contact East Coast Lumber. And that could just be driving them to their homepage or a landing page, or giving them the ability to fill out the form right in TikTok or Facebook. I mean, that exists as part of the overall platform. And it's kind of like, one of the things I really liked about that, the heat pump ad that I showed you, is that it starts immediately with, hey, do you own an older home? It can be a real pain to try to retrofit your current home to be able to include like central air conditioning. But here's what you can do instead of that is you can install a heat pump, and they're super cheap. We could do it for nothing down, 0% interest, and you'll always be comfortable. And if that's interesting to you, then, click here. I mean, it's the perfect kind of problem, agitate the problem, solution. Here's what you do next. I mean, this is the same thing that advertisers have been doing for hundreds of years. It's just taking a different form now. So,
As a great smart marketer once said to me, be the disruptor,
yeah,
Brad.
absolutely. That's right.
Because
Right.
you said it, that's why.
I think there's a lot to be said for that. I think there's a lot to be said for being the first mover on things as much as you possibly can. I mean, nobody on here is going to be the first one advertising to the customers that you're advertising to, or the the first one in your industry advertising on those people. But I'll say this, there's not a lot of other people doing it like compared to many of the other platforms. So it's as close to being a first mover as you can get at this point.
And Ray Tweedy's on here from Waterstone Mortgage, and he's
Right.
very innovative, very aggressive. So I'm excited to see what he can do with this. But do you have any other questions? Anyone at all?
It's always good to see Ray. It's funny too. So
Terribly out of focus. Sorry about that. I don't know what's up with the Logic camera there. Sorry.
okay, glad you made it. It's always fun. So there are a lot of mortgage brokers, for instance, and real estate agents, and like just lots of people in those types of professions, in the real estate professions, and even in the financial professions that are really making good use of TikTok, because people have so many questions, right? Especially around your business, your type of business. People just have so many questions that they want the answer to. And so, and TikTok being such a visual, verbal platform gives you a really nice opportunity to just be able to set up a camera or hire a professional, like a professional videography company, to come in. I know a couple of them. We're not one, by the way. We're not a professional videography company. The best you're going to get from us is iPhone video. And there's a time and a place for that. But a professional videography company will come in and they'll set up all the f-stops and do all the whatever they have to do and do a great job. Somebody like a Ray can get in and start answering all the questions that are burning your potential clients up. And once people start seeing value in the content that you're providing, yeah, you start to get followers. You start to get people going, okay, I want to hear what else this guy has to say, because he's really helping me a lot. Last time I watched his TikTok, boy, I was really inspired and changed what I decided to do for my home purchase. So there's a really big opportunity there for lots of different people.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. We're going to be doing this with Brad Solomon, SE Digital, often. These are member-only benefits because we want you to do more business so you can buy your memberships. Very important to keep me employed. But thank you for the time. Brad, Erica, thank you so much. We'll get the recording out to everyone and we'll keep going.
All right.
Thank you.
Guys, thank you all so much. Nice seeing everybody.
Thanks, Brad. You certainly changed my mind about TikTok, that's for sure.
Okay, cool.
Excellent.
Have a good day, guys.
Feel free to reach out if you have any other questions. Happy to jump on a call and answer more of them. Thank you, guys. I'll stop the recording and then I'll hang on for a few minutes, Matt, and you can tell me